Even her casual clothing couldn't hide. There had been a kind of wild carelessness in her manner, from the way she stood to her gesture when she yawned. Not to mention that startling defiance in her cat-like eyes when she was facing him. She was utterly unlike any other woman. He wondered what tricks she had up her sleeve. Back at the Smith house, Anthony arrived just as the birthday party was ending. Angela's face was swollen and a clear handprint could be seen on her cheek. She pressed a towel filled with ice cubes to the bruise. In tears, she complained, "Why are you so late, Anthony?" He looked uncomfortable for a moment. On the way to the Smiths, he had taken a detour and asked a private investigator to help him find out more about the beautiful woman he had seen at the airport that day. Anthony coughed awkwardly and put on an anxious and concerned look. "What happened? Did Nora hit you? Is she refusing to cancel the engagement? Where is she? I'll take care of it myself." Angela hesitated. Take care of it himself, but that means he'll see her. She thought of that aggressively beautiful face and her heart filled with dread. She tried to tell herself she was being silly. Even if Anthony were to see Nora again, that didn't mean he would like what he saw. Right? Angela tightened her hold on the towel. Finally, she said, "Anthony, you don't need to go in person. It's not about you. She just won't let go of the company. Don't worry, I'll make her come around in the end." Anthony didn't insist. He was too distracted to really hear what Angela was saying. He nodded and said, "We need to get that company, or Grandpa will never agree to our engagement. I'll leave this matter to you. I don't want to see her pig-like face either. How did she look? I bet she got even uglier while she was away, right?" Angela hesitated. She avoided answering the question, just saying, "You don't have to worry about seeing her again. I'll definitely come up with a solution." Okay. After leaving the Smiths, Anthony drove absent-mindedly. His mind was filled with memories of the woman from the airport. He didn't know who she was, but her aura and her beauty were unlike anything he had seen in his life. He thought to himself, "It'd be great if I could marry her instead." As soon as the thought formed, he was overcome with a strong desire to see her again. A moment later, he received a call from the private investigator. "Mr. Gray, I couldn't find the identity of your mystery woman, but I found the hotel where she's staying." Anthony's eyes lit up. "Send me the address." When Nora reached her suite, she found that Mrs. Lewis had already put Jerry to bed. The little girl was already asleep. Nora went straight to the study. She sat on the sofa and made a call. "Solo, give me everything you can about Idelian Pharmaceuticals." The usually lively voice on the other end sounded a little petulant. "Hey, watch your tone, Anthea. You can't boss me around just because you saved my life. I'm the world's #1 hacker. I deserve some respect. I'm not running your errands. Name a fair price and we'll call it even. How does that sound?" The corners of Nora's lips curled upward slightly. "Sure. How much is your life worth?" After a moment of silence, Solo said, "Fine, give me 5 minutes." 5 minutes later, Solo emailed her all the information they had about Idelian Pharmaceuticals, the company Nora's mother had left behind when she died. Nora had only been a child at the time, so the company had been put in the care of a dedicated manager. She had never taken much interest in the company in all this time, but for her father to want it so much, to demand that she give it to Angela as a wedding gift, Nora figured there must be something fishy going on. She carefully combed through the information until she heard faint footsteps from out in the hotel's soundproof corridor. Disturbed by the sound, Nora frowned. Seeing her look, Mrs. Lewis explained, "There are people staying in the presidential suite next door. I heard it's Mr. Hunt himself." Just then, Nora's cell phone beeped. It was a message from Solo. "The Hunts are very impressive. Mr. Hunt just offered me a few $1 million to tell him whether you're a man or a woman. Athena, you're in trouble." Justin Hunt again. Nora cast her cat-like eyes slightly downward. Her long, slender fingers tapped a few times on the keyboard as she thought. Finally, she replied, "I want you to send him a message for me." In the presidential suite next door, the tall and slender Justin sat on the sofa and leaned back. His assistant, Lawrence Zimmer, stood by respectfully. "Mr. Hunt, Solo has a message for you from Dr. Athena." Justin looked up coldly. "What is it?" Lawrence coughed awkwardly and adjusted his glasses. He read out the message as matter-of-factly as he could manage. Dr. Athena asks, "Mr. Hunt, are you rushing to find me because you need brain surgery?" Justin stared at him. Lawrence shivered in the silence. He felt like the temperature in the room was dropping to freezing point. It took several long moments for Justin to get control of his anger. When he felt he could speak again, he snapped, "Show me that photo." Lawrence instantly understood what he meant. He wanted to see the photo of Dr. Athena they had obtained earlier that day for an exorbitant price. He pulled up the file and handed the photo to Justin. Justin took it. He wanted to get a good look at the face of the person who dared make fun of him. The photo, which had been taken half a year ago, was just a snapshot from one of Athena's surgeries. The subject was wearing a surgical cap, and their body was fully covered. All one could tell was that it was a slightly chubby woman. She was looking down at her work with cat-like eyes, her gaze focused and serious. Justin thought those eyes looked a little familiar. But just as quickly as the thought occurred to him, he dismissed it. The physique of the woman next door didn't match. It wasn't her. As Justin racked his brains for an answer, next door, Mrs. Lewis was pushing Nora to go to bed. "Nora, you can't do late nights with your poor health. You need more sleep than other people, not less. I can't allow you to stay up any later." Nora stretched and said in a slightly hoarse voice, "Okay." Although she had recovered from her illness 5 years ago, her constitution was weak and she had little energy. She needed a full 12 hours of sleep every night. During her time abroad, her aunt had even nicknamed her the Queen of Sleep. If she didn't have a reason to get up, she could just sleep straight through 3 days and 3 nights. The next morning, she was woken up by the sound of her phone ringing. She answered the call with her eyes closed. She could hear Angela's voice on the other end. "Have you thought any more about giving me the company?" "Not really." Angela softened her tone, as if trying to sound charitable. "How about this? Let's both take a step back. I'll give you $500,000 if you transfer the company to me. That would be a good trade, right?" Nora turned over and found a comfortable position, but still did not open her eyes. Idelian Pharmaceutical's annual net income was approximately $5 million. It had been handed to her father as her nominal guardian for the last few years, but the company really belonged to her. Although the money didn't mean all that much to her, she wasn't about to just give her mother's company away. Angela continued, sarcasm creeping into her voice. "Does your aunt even have $100,000 saved up after all her hard work? This is $500,000 we're talking about. You've probably never seen that much money in your life, right?" Nora pressed her lips together, silently amused. The presidential suite cost $100,000 per night. Her aunt had been so concerned about ensuring Cherry's comfort while Nora looked for a house that she had booked an entire month's stay. Angela couldn't be more wrong. When Nora didn't respond, Angela changed her strategy. "Nora, you might not know this, but that company isn't making any money at all. It'll go bankrupt soon. If you transfer the company to me, there may still be a chance to make it profitable." In her mind, Nora laughed at her sister's lie. Angela went on. "It's a pharmaceutical company. You were never great in school. You wouldn't get it. I'm a high-achieving medical student, and I've got a ton of professional knowledge. I'm even going to apply to study as a postgraduate student under Professor Athena. Athena is the most amazing surgeon in the world, and they can perform even the most difficult operations. They're a legend." When Athena's surgical talents were discovered, they were still in medical school. The doctors at Athena's school allowed them to complete their medical degree in just a few years because the professors ran out of things to teach them. No one had ever seen anything like it in the entire history of medicine. They're really mysterious, though. Boston University has gone to a lot of trouble to get them to come over to be a professor there. I don't even know why I'm bothering to explain this to you. It's not like you understand what I'm saying. Nora, just quit while you're ahead. Don't stick to a bad decision just to make a point. The company will only go bankrupt faster. Nora knitted her brows in annoyance. "You talk too much." Agitated, Angela demanded, "What do you mean by that?" She wasn't bothering with trying to sound nice anymore. Are you pretending to be dumb because you don't want to cancel the engagement? Anthony loves me for my looks and my brains. Even if you don't give me the company as a wedding gift, he'll still marry me all the same. So do you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? Nora hung up and tossed the cell phone aside. She hugged her pillow and fell into a deep sleep once more. Angela's threats were ridiculous. The Smith family was full of monsters. Nora refused to waste her time worrying about them. After finishing up her 12 hours of sleep, Nora finally forced herself to get out of bed. She needed to find a private investigator to look for clues about her son's whereabouts. She got dressed and prepared to go out. At the door, Cherry gave her a very quick hug before going straight back to the game she was playing. Nora called after her, "Don't play games on your phone all day. I don't want you ruining your eyesight." "Ha! That's 4 kills! Got you, dummy!" Cherry's hand tapped away quickly on the phone she was holding. When she heard her mum, she nodded without even looking up. "Okay, don't worry, Mum, I'll take care of Mrs. Lewis." Nora shook her head. Cherry clearly wasn't listening to her at all. After a moment's hesitation, Nora added, "There's a very difficult person next door. Try not to go outside." Cherry's eyes immediately widened with interest. "Is he a monster, Mummy?" Justin's arrogant face appeared in her mind. Nora, who had always been reserved by nature, said slowly, "Well, this monster is very handsome and has a mole in the corner of his eye, but it seems that his brain isn't working very well." "Oh," Cherry waved. "I definitely won't go out then. I don't play with dummies." Nora laughed as she closed the door and got ready to go to the elevator. But as she turned, she immediately froze. Without her even realizing it, Justin had come to stand behind her. He was so tall he made the spacious hallway seem cramped. His dark eyes were staring at her, and even the mole at the corner of his eye seemed to exude a bone-deep chill. He was probably going out. An assistant and a bodyguard followed behind him. There were only the 3 of them, but his presence was no weaker than it had been during their encounter in the lobby the previous evening. Nora raised her eyebrows. To be fair, her aunt had given her 1,000 reminders and warnings before she returned to the States. Nora knew her aunt could protect her from most people, no matter what she said. However, Nora also knew that no one could mess with Justin Hunt. She had sent him a sarcastic message as Athena last night. That had been easy to do from a distance, but now... Nora cast her cat-like eyes down slightly and said casually, "Mr. Hunt, I was just joking with my daughter. I definitely wasn't talking about you." Mr. Hunt's assistant, Lawrence, fought to keep from laughing, but the corner of his lips twitched a little. He couldn't believe how this woman dared to lie to Mr. Hunt's face. He had heard everything she had said about the monster with a mole at the corner of its eye. She hadn't said it aloud, but it was clear that monster's last name was Hunt. There was no visible emotion on Justin's face. He was rarely expressive, which made it difficult for people to know what he was thinking. He merely cast a long look at Nora before taking the lead and walking ahead. Nora hung back deliberately to let Hunt's group take the elevator and put some distance between them. Once they were gone, she let out a sigh of relief. That man had only given her a simple glance just now, but she could feel the fury in his look. He was trouble. It was best she stayed far away from him. In the elevator, Justin narrowed his eyes slightly. He hadn't been able to see clearly in the dim lighting the night before, but running into her today, he could see she was astonishingly pretty. She kept her cat-like eyes turned down demurely, and her curly eyelashes were long and black. She appeared sweet and docile, but a wild energy seemed to crackle from out of nowhere. Something about her felt familiar, particularly the way she stung him with such polite insults. Back in the Hunt suite, Pete waited until he was sure his father was gone. He was a little afraid of his father sometimes. In his head, he thought of the man as a demon lord. Once he was sure the coast was clear, he dialed the neighbouring room's phone extension. Someone picked up and he heard a young voice say, "Hello?" Pete paused. "I'm staying next door. Can I come over and visit you?" The little girl sounded surprised. "Oh, are you the little dummy from next door?" Pete was shocked into silence. He was used to everyone knowing him as a genius and a prodigy. This was the first time someone had called him a dummy. However, the little girl quickly spoke again. "Can you play games with me?" A light twinkled in Pete's dark eyes, and he replied, "Yes, I can."
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.